I believe we can start. Great. Can you all hear me? It's good enough? It's a little bit loud. So, okay. I believe we can start. So for the next 1 hour and 150 slides, no, just kidding. So this is not going to be dead by PowerPoint. I really appreciate if you have any questions at any point in time, just feel free to interrupt me, ask whatever you want, okay? What am I talking about today? We're at the cybersecurity conference. Cybersecurity is just part of the big picture. Is it still okay? I'm hearing a lot of noise, so okay. So just part of the big picture. The story that I'm going to tell you today is you need to have cybersecurity. You need to have a data protection. But what you need to really be worried about is once something happens, and trust me, it will, how fast you can actually recover your business and continue working, continue making money. So, my name is Hrvoje Stanilovic. I'm not Dutch. That's a big one, huh? So I come from Croatia. I've been with IBM for 17 years now. I started as a technician, so I'm an engineer at heart. And then they forced me to sell the stuff, which I come to like right now. But the idea today is not talk about storage by itself, but talk about the new frontier. What can we actually do with the stuff we have, okay? So let's start. I'm going to briefly talk about regulation because I'm not coming from Deloitte. I'm not an expert on DORA or NIS2. We're going to talk about cyber resilience or where we are today. We're going to talk about the business impacts of a cyber attack. I will try to show you which steps you need to take to become cyber resilient. I will conceptually show you what you need to do and how to avoid drama in your infrastructure. And I'm going to show you the steps what to do next. Okay, let's start. So the regulations. EU is actually far ahead from the rest of the world as far as regulations are concerned, sometimes to a point that we even hurt ourselves. But if we take a look at US, that has absolutely no regulation for the finance or any other industry when it cyber resilience is taken into concern. Why are they doing this? Because this is a risk to economy and risk to business. We see the cyber attacks basically daily, and it's impacting our personal lives, not just our business lives. So this is something that we really need to be careful of. So there is big new thing that's coming with DORA and NIS2 that GDPR didn't have, or else Mark Zuckerberg would be in jail today, is there's personal responsibility. He paid loads of money, but that didn't touch him. So with the new regulation, actually the responsible people can be suspended from their position or can be held criminally liable for the issues in their environment. And this is setting the new standards for best practice. What's also important here, that this is not just for the big companies. So this is not just, so the risk to business is not just for banks, hospitals, manufacturing. It is hitting the SMB market as well, okay? We as IBM usually we're very focused on the banks, we're focused on the airlines, we're focused on government, manufacturing, all that. But with this, we're trying to focus on everybody. So we are actually created solutions that are approachable for even the SMB market, okay? You've all heard about cyber resilience. You all have firewalls, XDRs, EDRs, plenty of tools. Make sure you still have them because they're a very necessary first step. They're trying to keep the bad guys out. You also all have backups. You also very well versed in terminology such as RPO, RTO. I have a DR strategy. I have high availability. I have async, sync copy of all my data, which is all good. and you still need to have it. But the problem with a typical DR strategy is this is trying to prevent something that you know exactly when it happened. If an earthquake hits, you know exactly when it started. If there's a flood, you know exactly when it started. With a typical malware and ransomware attack, they can be in there for months and you weren't aware. So what is exactly the point in time that you need to recover? You don't know. So we need to talk about new terminology. We need to talk about secure data copies. We need to talk about active and dormant threat scanning all the time. What good is a backup if you don't know if it's affected? So today, it's not important to have backup. It is important to be able to recover. Very big difference, because loads of clients have backups, never tested them. We just had a huge client in one of the Nordic countries. They got hit twice in a year. They learned their lesson the first time, and they still, at the second attack, lost 17% of their customer data. That's a very nasty discussion with your customer, okay? Let's work on trying to prevent that, because issue will happen. We just need to make sure that we can actually recover, okay? Any questions up till now? Okay.
Yeah, maybe.
Sergio, you have a question?
Does it work? Yeah.
I don't hear you.
Yeah. I've got the question. It's more about in what way do you also use AI and machine learning to have cyber resilience?
Okay. So hold that question, because I will actually talk about that a little bit later, how we leverage AI and machine learning to have better threat detection. But on that topic, what we saw with AI and machine learning, the attack vectors are becoming more sneaky. I just got a text 2 days ago that I'm expecting a package. Please update your address because we don't have your house number. Okay? Very sneaky. And I understand what's happening, but I had a very similar question from my father-in-law, who called me all in panic a couple weeks back. I've been trying to get my daughter on the phone. I couldn't catch her. Is she okay? Because he got a text, Dad, started with Dad, I lost my cell phone. We are at the seaside, which we actually were at the time. Can you please send me money so that we can get back? He couldn't reach her on the phone. He tried to reach me. I was on the beach. So he managed to reach me in 15 minutes later, and he was in panic because it's his daughter. It's very close to his heart. And he was already ready to send money. And I told him, no, stop doing it. So they're becoming very, very smart. And if they get people, because all of us are in business, so if they get access to your cell phone, your computer, they can get into the business, okay? So keep aware of that, because a lot of people are, yeah, I'm too small, nobody's gonna go after me. Very big mistake, okay? Okay, so today, vendors are selling you extremely fast computers. They've been selling you very fast servers, extremely fast networks. We've been selling you fast storage. There's a very nasty coincidence that happens with this. Do you know how much a typical ransomware can encrypt, how much data it can encrypt in 24 hours? A typical ransomware. Okay, you said a lot. How much is a lot? Huh? Let's talk about in terabytes or petabytes. 1.5 petabytes a day. Okay, any other tries? No? No? Just a clue, anybody? Well, out of all who tried, you were the closest, and we actually have a present for you. So the answer is actually 2.5 peta. So we will give you the present a little bit later. This is per storage in 24 hours. How long would it take you to recover 2.5 peta? Whatever you're going to say, it's too long. It's going to be days, weeks, or months, okay? With typical systems that we have today. So you don't want to be here. You want to be as close to here as possible. How to do it? I'm going to show you a little later, okay? So where are most of our clients today? So this is Disney level animation right now. We have hundreds of people just working on this graph. Just kidding. So on the top left corner, we have the production workloads. You have backups. You have snapshots. You have cybersecurity. You're golden. Nothing's going to happen to you because this is where most of the clients are today. We're safe. We're fine. What is the first attack vector of a typical ransomware today? Perfect. It's backup. The first thing it goes after is your backup because you have nothing to recover from. So when you start having a dormant threat, it will propagate to all your snapshots, then it gets activated, and it kills your backup. So you have nothing to recover from. What it does from there, it goes to production workloads and starts spreading. It goes through all of them. It's very smart. It will not kill your antivirus. It will not kill your critical stuff. It will start encrypting data. And then when it has enough, it's going to do a kill switch. And then you get that nasty note, here's my Bitcoin address, please send me money. Drama. That's when you're screwed. There's nothing to recover from. You have no backup. You have nothing. We see that in a lot of clients, unfortunately. So let me help you get from here to a better place, okay? Here are the things, here are the steps that you need to take to become cyber and data resilient. First of all, you need to know what are your critical workloads. Very simple reason for that. If you were able and you can afford protecting everything, all the data you have, go right ahead. We're not at that point, unfortunately. And the ROI for the non-important data is a little bit too long. So let's talk about figuring out what makes your company tick. This could be anything. For different clients, this is completely different subjects. I had a conversation with so they're one of the biggest distributors for common goods in my country. The guy, their CEO, the only thing he cared about is how many trucks leave his warehouses each and every day. And then you have to go into discussion with this guy to modernize their SAP. He's only thinking about trucks. So the discussion with him is, okay, your critical infrastructure is your trucks. For you to be able to deliver your goods to your end users, what do you need? You need to know who the end users are. Where is that data kept? Oh, it's in a database. Is your critical infrastructure your database then? Yes. So this is minimum viable company. That's your critical data. You need to protect that as your gold. Okay, so this is the first thing. 75% of all our clients have experienced a ransomware attack. So it's out there. It will happen. And this is also a nice topic of discussion. A lot of people say, this is not generating revenue. Cyber resilience is not generating revenue for me. Okay, it is not. But if you are down for one day, how many trucks are not leaving your warehouses? This is cost of lost business. So you need to think about that. Because if you talk about CEOs, they all have KPIs. And if you're a business partner, if you're a salesman, you need to know what those KPIs are, because then you focus on them. Because you need to talk the language of the person you're talking to, okay? Not just generic stuff. The next thing is you need to make sure that your recovery copies, backups, snapshots, tape, pieces of paper need to be immutable. Because if they're immutable or non-changeable, that means a ransomware cannot change it. You have something to recover from, okay? Extremely important. 73% of all the clients don't have an air gap solution. You know what an air gap is? Okay, a physical or logical separation between data and backup, okay? It can be logical as well. Oh, 57% of backups are destroyed even before the attack. we go to that. The next thing is you need to make sure you have threat detection. You need to make sure that you're scanning for active threats, but you're also scanning for dormant threats. Typical ransomware will be in there for many days, which means it will kill your backups and everything be affected, which means you need to test the backups. You need to scan them. Okay? You need to test live data. You need to scan snaps. You need to do all of that. The next one is recovery speed. How much of a lost business if you don't recover for 3 days, 4 days, 20 days, 30 days? Okay? So here is an example from my home country. Our largest hospital got hit by a ransomware attack a couple of months back. I think it was June. They encrypted all their systems. It's a hospital, they don't have IT. They don't have IT budgets. They have nothing. Government, because it's an embarrassment, refused to pay. What was the direct influence to, like Americans say, a common Joe, a common person? Direct influence was that the people that had cancer treatments could not do cancer treatments for 2.5 months because they didn't have their test results from before. They didn't know where they were in the cancer treatment. It was a huge pain, and that was something that they couldn't recover. It took them weeks, months to recover even pieces of data. People were so this is not a cost of just business. This is cost for people. Okay? Last but not the least, you have a cyber attack today. It's, I don't know, 2 a.m. in the morning. You get your CEO, everybody's coming in, everyone's like this. You pull a guy from your from vacation to try to save your business, and then you go to business and you say, you know what? Here's the recovery procedure. Step number 1. Do you have time for that? Do you really want to do that? You need to make sure that your recovery procedures are automated and tested. If you're in a regulated industry, they will actually ask you for this. They will ask you to show them your recovery process. And it cannot be step number 1, then to steps 250. You don't have time, you don't have the people for that. You need to have all of this. Okay, so let's talk about a little bit of AI about threat intelligence. We've actually developed a system that can bring this discovery time from 24 hours to a very, very low number. What do you think that low number is? How much we were able to improve from 24 hours? Any tries? 4 hours? Anybody else? Okay, you're better? Less. We actually managed to develop a system that's able to detect an active ransomware in less than a minute. It was actually 40 seconds, and we actually can prove this. We actually have third-party companies that use this solution, tested it, and proved it. I think it was a Rebel ransomware, and they figured out within a minute that something is going on. They were able to react soon. How did we do it? You all have XDRs, you all have ransomware protections, you have systems that can do that. That is not fast enough. We need something that's extremely fast. So what did we do? We took a stupid SSD drive, flash drive, that you all use in your environments, and we gave it brains. What was the benefit? We are able to test every single I/O that's coming into the system all the time for ransomware without any performance impact. We actually gave, so this is a 2.5-inch drive. It looks exactly the same as a Samsung, as a Toshiba, as an HP, Hitachi, whatever. But we were able to work with the flash manufacturer. We can adjust the firmware, and we put 4 CPUs. We made it smart. So what do we actually do with a stupid drive? we do compression and encryption live, in line, without performance impact. This encryption is, by the way, quantum safe. So we're using quantum safe algorithms to encrypt the data. So going forward, you are safe. Recently, we actually gave it, because we have 4 CPUs, and we were only using one to do all encryption and compression, and we hate lazy CPUs, so we were able to give them tasks to do. They're testing every single write for ransomware on a very low level, on a block level, which is incredibly stupid, but it's incredibly fast. And we are able to do that. And we are able to leverage, thank you, Sergio, for that. So now I'm coming to your question, Sergio, is we are able to leverage machine learning and AI in the cloud. Why? We're getting all of that information. Information without context is not very good. So we are actually using AI machine learning in the cloud to give it context, to give it community knowledge, because all our customers are feeding to the same AI model. So if a customer, I don't know, in Brazil had an issue and it matches your signature, you know. And a very common question is, that means you send data to the cloud. No, we do not send any customer data in the cloud. We send metadata and signatures. There's no data of our customers that's going to the cloud, okay? And we're able to do it very fast. Any questions so far? So a typical solution that's based on this, go ahead.
One question, when you look at the recovery speed with AI and machine learning, how does it influence cyber resilience?
Okay. As this is testing every single write, and we were able to, in real conditions, detect that an attack is coming from within a minute, which means you react within a minute. You have automation going in the back. I'm going to show you in the next slide that you can actually create a snapshot, test the snapshot, and recover it as soon as possible. That's the whole idea.
Do you recognize this kind of situation where you say, I would like to have a rapid view insight about something wrong or not? Do you recognize that? Also with customers? It's like this.
But your data recovery plan is based usually on backup, normal typical backup. Okay, so usually backup is let's say you're using, I'm guessing, a data domain. Yeah. How long does it take for you to actually get the data from the data domain and recover it into production environment? Once you figure out what you need to recover. Hours, days, depending on the size of the data. Okay. What if I told you it could be a lot sooner? And you don't have to throw out the data domain that you're using. This can actually be a piece of the puzzle. So for the extremely important data, you do the fast recovery. For everything else, you still use the data domain. Would that make sense? Okay? And of course, I go back. There we go.
What about if it has a false positive? I've lost my data.
So, the question was, what if it has a false positive? Great question. Thank you. We are trying to give you as much information as possible, but the decision to recover at the end, and I will show you how to actually test that in the next slide, is you. You, in the end, have the decision. The machine by itself will not recover by itself. Because, let me give you an example. Let's say you have an Oracle database, and you're using it today. Your DB admin enables encryption on an Oracle database, and you're looking for a disk level. What's the difference between enabling that option and ransomware? None, correct? But what if you got information that I see a potential ransomware attack at your system, which is then linked to this volume, which is where your Oracle database is. You do the testing in a clean room, and you see, okay, yeah, my DB admin actually enabled it, it's a false positive. Wouldn't you rather know, compared to there's ransomware going on in there that I'm not even aware about? That's the thing. Yes, false positive will happen. Community knowledge, so machine and AI learning, will actually give you more information. They will say, okay, as with all AI, I'm 80% sure that this is something good or this is something bad. But it's your decision at the end. Because if we had this automatic, you would have a recovery probably like daily or hourly, which you don't want to have. But we want to give you as much possible information as possible. Okay? Did I answer your question? Okay. Any other question before I continue? Okay. So again, with this level animation, we're going to the next slide. So this is a conceptual look on how this actually looks like in the practice. So compared to the previous, we have production workloads, which is exactly the same. We have something more. We have secure immutable snapshots. We have secure backups. Okay? We have ransomware detection here. So I don't think Pixar could have done a better job. And we have sending metadata to the machine learning in a very nice cloud. And we have integration with the security tools. It can be SIEM/SOAR, it can be your Ansible, or I don't know, whatever scripting language you want to use. This is using open APIs. So whatever you use, you can plug into this. You can do whatever you want, okay? But we're trying to give you as much information as possible that you make a decision at the end, okay? So I'm going to show two scenarios. One of them is a dormant threat. So we have a dormant threat, something gets activated, and then it gets propagated to a snapshot. Not the backup yet, because backup is a little bit slower than snapshots. So we introduce a new concept here. It's called a clean room. You remember me talking about threat scanning? This is an incredibly important step. Because what good is a backup that you tested when you created the backup that had the dormant threat that you weren't aware about at the time? A week down the line, is your backup good? No. So you need to have a continuously testing environment. In a typical non-automated way, this would mean you have two servers, you have people mounting the backup, mounting the snapshot, testing it. There's solutions that do this automatically all the time, not just once a week, once a month, and that can plug in to storage, that can plug into backup and do this automatically for you, and then say, you know what, I tested this backup today, it is good. You know what, I'm going to test it in 2 days again, is it still good? So we do continuous testing automatically. It can be done with XDR tools, it can be done with antivirus, whichever you prefer, but depending on the workload. We actually have a partner that developed a whole solution based on this in UK. It's a company called Chili IT, and they're based on how many of you have ever heard about something called IBM I or System I or AS400? Ah, good. It's an extremely old system. You know what? You wouldn't find an accounting firm that doesn't use it because it's so stable. They've actually developed an offering for their clients where they guarantee that they will recover any type of attack within 30 minutes. Because they created a great clean room, they created great testing. So this is possible today. They've had it for months now, okay? So we actually find out in the deep scan in a clean room that there is a dormant threat that we are aware about right now. We are connected to a SOAR in this case. It could be seen with scripts, it doesn't really matter. SOAR playbook will say request action. What's the first action it requests? Isolate the workload. We don't want the thing to spread. So we need to make sure, okay, we're testing this. The next thing is recover a clean copy. In this case, we mounted so the latest snapshot is affected, so we mounted the one before, tested again before recovery. We found it to be safe, and we agreed that we're going to recover them. we avoided disruption. Okay? No drama. This can be done semi-automated because you need the final decision. You avoid the drama. So the next case is an active ransomware threat. It starts encrypting your production workloads. It cannot encrypt this because this is locked. This is already encrypted. So it starts encrypting. Within a minute or less, your disk actually notifies its storage controller, which notifies the cloud, and this is immediate. So we are not doing polling. So we're not checking, dear drive, do you have something? Dear drive, do you have something? It tests every single I/O, and then when it notices something, it sends a push event. Sorry, do you have a question or? It sends a push event, so we know immediately. We check it with the signatures in the cloud. We see that it's potential malware. We request action. You have control of this playbook, okay? This is not fully automatic. We don't want it to be fully automatic. So what do? We test, we want to start recovery. We first isolate the workload, sorry. Then we want to start recovering. First, we mount the latest snapshot. We test it again. In this particular example, we find that it's already affected. We do not throw it away because this can be root cause analysis, so we can figure out what's going on. We maybe need this for regulators, okay? We don't throw it away. Then we mount the second snapshot. In this example, just to make it easy, this one was found clean. But we could be going down the line before we figure it out, okay? So we test, we found this to be okay, and then we start recovering a clean copy. Okay? And we start again. There's no reset, there's nothing, so this is done 24/7. We minimized the disruption and we did a rapid recovery. For the production workloads, this can be in minutes to hours, depending on the size. But we are recovering from the primary array. Because if you take a look at what most of the competitors are doing right now, they're usually, so for instance Dell is very much propagating their Cyber Vault solution, which is a physical air gap, which means you have to bring your data from data domain or a second option to the primary machine, which will take time. I'm not saying the solution is bad, but a typical solution from, I don't know, Dell, Hitachi, or I don't know, Pure, is requiring to have, or HP, that you have multiple machines in multiple racks, which is not cheap. I mean, you will need multiple machines for this to work. We can actually make this work on a 1U box. Just 1U, which can house, without any compression, 350 terabytes of data. 1U, using standard, well, relatively standard 2.5-inch drives, okay? And it comes with compression, it comes with quantum safe encryption. That thing doesn't cost $1 million. I would really like it to cost $1 million because my quota would be easy. This is incredibly cheap. And we're talking about $20,000, $30,000, depending on the size of the machine, okay? So this can be incredibly fast and incredibly cheap, okay? To avoid drama. This is one of the examples that we were able to help the customer that didn't have a DR. They were manufacturing, didn't have a DR, they had Veeam backup, their repositories got corrupted, more than 600 terabytes of production environment was basically affected, no standby infrastructure, no offsite immutable copies. We were still able to recover them in hours, okay? There's another thing that you can actually do with this. You've invested already in HP, you've already invested in Dell, it's fine. What you can do is, if you want to bring this sort of functionality to your existing system, you can. Because even this 1U box, small box, can virtualize your existing storage. You know what VMware did for x86 servers? We can do exactly that for storage. Okay? We virtualize it. We give it smarts. We give it, so it won't do the fastest recovery because it doesn't have the drives. We can still do that in software. You can bring this functionality to your existing systems today. So the idea here is not to say, you know what, you already invested a lot in data domain in CyberVault, you invested a lot in HP solution, you invested a lot in Pure. Protect your investments, give it smarts. You can put this in, protect your primary environment, protect your minimum viable company, and still use everything that you have. You can even virtualize it. We just had one huge government client that had, their Hitachi client for last 20 years. They brought, because this is software-defined storage, they brought the software component on top of their Hitachi. They're still using Hitachi. They're managing, they're giving it cyber resilience through IBM. They protected their investment and gave it additional features.
Yeah. Hey, it's doing it. And yours, so it's working. It's working. So thank you. I just got a question. You mentioned now Dell, Veeam, and also Hitachi. How open is this system? Because I can imagine that you maybe already have other solutions in place, but then you like to see, okay, how can that be compatible with my own solution I have?
Sure. If we're talking just the block storage, I don't care which server you have on top. I would prefer that it was IBM mainframe, which would be nice, or a Power or a System I. This works with any type of server. Storage can be the backend storage for Veeam. It can be backend storage for Dell. It works together with data domain. If we're talking about the clean room, we actually can work with different vendors. So right now we're partnering up with a company called Predator that's coming out of UK that can actually map snapshots from IBM. It can map snapshots from Pure. It can map snapshots, I think HP is the newest edition. They can map backups from Veeam, Commvault, IBM, Cohesity, and test all of them. And as far as the API is concerned, this thing is using REST API. So you want to plug in the data that this machine is giving you, to you in your current SIEM, in your custom-made environment. If you know how to do REST API, go ahead. It's fully open. Because the idea is that this solution is not an end-all solution. No, we need extremely layered approach. We still need the firewalls, we still need the SIEMs, we still need the SOARs, the XDRs. This all comes together because you still need them. The idea is to keep most of the things out, but when the shit hits the fan, you need something to recover as soon as possible, okay? Something that we can help you also. We developed this data resilience checklist. You are looking at your environment, you think you have all the bases covered. We can help you with that. We've developed an offering which is completely free of charge, completely free. And we have it in 2 flavors. If you want to do a quick analysis, you'll actually have a QR code at the end. You can do a quick test of where you are today. 10 questions, you just click. You can download the PDF with your results and see where you are compared to the NIST framework. Are you mature? Do you need something else? There's another thing that we can also do for you free of charge is we call it a secure and resilient assessment. We can come in, it can be virtual, it can be live, and I always call it a marriage counseling session. Because when you do the security assessments, it is very hard to get CISO, because CISO is not talking to anybody. Your DB admin is not talking to your storage admin. It's very hard to get people talking. Then you get them to a room, you ask them relevant questions. And in the end, you get a PDF report to see where you currently are. It could be saying that you're very mature, but it could be showing it's an additional set of eyes that we can give you. And if you're, for instance, you're an IT manager, and you've been fighting your CFO for budget for the last 6 months to improve your cyber resilience stance, and you cannot get him because he's not seeing how much revenue this will bring him, then you can do this assessment, as I said, again, free. And you can tell your CFO, you know what, we did an independent assessment with our trusted partner, because the partners can also do this, with our trusted vendor, with a third-party vendor. And we saw that we are exposed here. And I've been trying to fix this for 6 months. Dear CFO, I'm really trying to say that you're going to sign knowing that we're exposed and you're willing to do nothing. So we've done it in a couple of times. We actually gave that to the IT managers, and they were able to get budget to really do the project they wanted. It can be with IBM. It doesn't have to be with IBM. And we just updated this assessment that it actually has specific set of questions that are applicable to DORA and NIS2. Of course, they will not say at the end you are DORA compliant, because if I said that, probably legal would be looking at me from there and probably have me escorted out of the building. So we will say, according to DORA, you are going in the right direction, but we will not say certified. That's that's somebody else's job to give you that. So monitor data for threats continuously. Secure immutable copies of data. Use data encryption for protection. If you can, do the automation, do the SOC integration, and have a clean room for recovery. So next steps to avoid the drama. Don't know where to start? Very simply, you can do the secure and resilient assessment. Okay? Very easy. It is giving you information, it's asked you a couple of questions, gives you background information about those questions, and you can get the PDF at the end, okay? I will share this so the links will work. You want to see it in action, the system that I just discussed. We actually had a demo done by TD SYNNEX, our value-add distributor, where they tested this against the Revil ransomware threat and show how it actually works. Don't trust your eyes, try it for yourself. We have a partnership with a company in Netherlands, which is available across Europe, that you can get free of charge, a machine at your premises for 2 weeks to play with. Okay? And you will get...
Hrvoje, maybe also you can explain that Hrvoje is also a guest at our booth from the Indo IT Club. So I think you can also do it live here.
Yeah, so we can do the secure and resilient assessment on the cell phone, on the iPad, on the computer, wherever you want. It's very easy to do. So thank you, sir. Yeah, we can definitely do that. So if you want to test it by yourself, do it. You will get 1 hour of free support from my partner. You're done, you like it, you don't like it, you package it, you return it. If you really like it, you can contact either our sales, either our business partners, and get this solution. And this is not something that we just announced, it's not tested. We sold thousands of them already this year. And this is bread and butter that we're doing right now. And the beauty of it is it a small? Is it a medium? Is it a large offering? They all use the same features. They all use the same software. And by the way, you want to do multi-cloud? You can actually use the same software for your storage within AWS, Azure, or IBM Cloud. You can use DR. You can move stuff around. You can do this resilient testing in the cloud as well. Okay? Any questions? Was this a complete waste of your time?
Thank you, Hrvoje, but also due to the time, because we're
yes, sorry about that.
So, if there's no more questions,
I'll be in the booth, so I'll be in the Indo IT booth.
Maybe help you further, and maybe you also highlight, because also there's something to win, or not?
Yes, so I already.
Scan now in.
What's your name?
Querio.
Querio. So thank you for a great answer. You were the first one. We actually have a gift for you. It's an extremely nice bag. That is Monique.
Yeah, Monique. Awesome.
That is supplied by our dear partner Brocade.
Yeah, it's powered by Broadcom Brocade. So we are working closely together with IBM. So with all pleasure, and I hope to welcome you to our booth and do the assessment together with.
Yes.